Welcome back to Losing Human by Aaron Dennis. Please like and subscribe to this YouTube channel. Now more of Losing Human. Mom, Johnny and Heisler pulled into the driveway of the aging two-story Heisler's dad's house.
Why does he need everyone around him to be happy? There's more to life than grinning like an idiot.
The doctor's thoughts were cut short. His dad, an old man with a scruffy ring of hair around his head, stood in the doorway. He wore a flannel robe. "Johnny, thanks for bringing back Steven in one piece," he greeted them.
"He's a piece of something, all right,"
Johnny joked. The old man embraced his son before turning to Johnny. "Staying over?"
"Not tonight, Mr. H. I'll see you both Friday,"
he answered, then pulled away into the night. The father and son entered the humble home. At the dining room table, they spoke. "Coffee?" Mr. Heisler asked.
No, I need to get some rest.
"I'm glad to see you," he said, wrinkling his face with a smile.
Me too, Dad. How are you?
Mr. Heisler nodded a bit before answering. "I'm dealing. Your mother and I were married for 40 years. What am I supposed to do, you know?"
And this is why I won't marry. Now that your wife is gone, you feel like you have nothing. No reason to live, no achievements. I don't mean for this to sound harsh.
"Stop it, Stephen," Mr. Heisler growled. "I have achievements. I have you, you little tin man, and I'm not saying I have nothing to live for. I'll always remember your mother. I can't understand why you're afraid to feel."
It isn't a question of fear, Dad. It's a question of necessity.
"Just like old times. At least, that's comforting." Silence prevailed while the two stared at the table. The wall-mounted clock ticked incessantly.
So Johnny said Michelle is coming to stay for a bit.
"Yeah, your cousin is a nice gal. Her lifestyle choice is a little peculiar."
It isn't a choice. She's only attracted to women. There isn't anything she can do about that. And since there's no real need to procreate at this point, it isn't even a biological discrepancy.
"If people don't have kids, where's the world going to be in 50 years?
Right where it always is, spinning around the sun.
"Get some rest, Stephen," Mr. Heisler chuckled. "Thanks for coming down,"
Yeah, night, Dad.
he said, and gave his father a hesitant pat on the shoulder. The following day, everyone met at the funeral home. Heisler stood outside, looking at the building while others made their way in.
Feels like I was just at one of these.
His thoughts were suddenly interrupted.
"Hey, Steven. Holding up okay?"
Johnny asked.
Sure enough. Thanks for coming by.
"Let's go inside."
Beyond the foyer, friends and family gathered to listen to the eulogy and give their respects. Many of them cried. Heisler spotted some of his cousins. Richard and his wife, Helen, Michelle was there, and some younger cousins. Michelle spoke to Heisler's father for some time, during which Richard found his way over to Heisler. "Hey, Stevie, sorry about your mom," he said, straightening his tie.
Thanks, and it's Steven.
"Hey, Helen, come here. Say hello to Stephen," Richard called out. Helen touched his arm, and giving a sympathetic smile, said,
"We're here for you."
Here for me. I guess that's what Greta wanted to hear. I was there, wasn't I? I was her lover. I was at the funeral home.
He smiled back.
Can we talk about something else?
Sure, anything you want.
How's work? I heard you guys are buying a new house.
"Condo, actually, but great. I sold about a dozen new models off the lot last month. Big commissions," Richard beamed.
Oh. How much?
"No, nah." Richard deflected with brash motions of the hands. "I don't want to talk figures."
Come on, it must be a lot if...
Richard took his cousin by the elbow and walked him away in a huff. Nonplussed, Heisler gawked at Helen as her husband had a momentary fit. She shrugged knowingly. "What's the matter with you?"
Get your hand off me, Richard.
"Sorry." He let go and calmed down. "Look, I don't want her to know how much I make. She'll want to spend it all on vacations or shoes."
And there it is. The human condition. That's your wife. You married that woman.
"Yeah, of course, but she's not exactly good with money," Richard joked. Heisler smiled.
Apologies. Go enjoy yourself. Or whatever.
Richard sauntered off, leaving Heisler to his thoughts.
A man is afraid that if his wife knows how much he makes, he will have to spend the money, but he doesn't have to. He can refuse. Then he must be afraid that she'll be upset, and he doesn't want to deal with the consequence of refusing her the money, so he lies. Next, you have a woman who obviously appreciates the finer things in life. She marries a man and wants to spend his money, even though he's the one working for it. Both are compromising. Both are settling. Neither one has exactly what they want. So why are they married? What's the point? The human condition. Ridiculous.
Stephen? Mr. Heisler jolted his son from reverie. Johnny was with him. They motioned to come pay last respects. Stephen obliged and approached the open casket. His aged mother lay motionless, flowers clutched in her hands.
Is this how they want to remember her? I prefer her smiles.
Say something, Mr. Heisler demanded.
I'll always love you, Mother,
He said, and meant it.
We'll never forget you.
Johnny added.
Who is going to remember her when all of us who never forget are dead?
Heisler wondered. His dad gave an imploring look.
What is it?
Son, I'm just worried that with all your work, no wife, no kids. Well, he trailed off. Heisler looked to Johnny, who said,
Family moment.
then snuck away in overly mocked drama.
Dad?
Stephen, I hate saying this to you, but who's going to show up to your funeral? Who will remember you when you're gone? He asked, nearly brought to tears by his own verbal onslaught. Listen, I want you to understand. I'm not yelling at you. I just think you're a wonderful boy who works too hard. Do you understand? Heisler smiled before replying,
Dad, when I'm gone, I won't know if anyone remembers me or not. I won't care, because I'm dead. What I do know is that my legacy, my life's work, robotics, will never fade. I don't need to be remembered. I need to be immortalized.
Mr. Heisler sniffed, rubbed his eyes, and excused himself. Michelle approached.
Everything all right?
It's a funeral. People always get emotional. It was nice seeing you, but I have work to do.
Since conversations were coming to an end, he simply stepped outside. It was late in the afternoon. Wispy clouds rolled in overhead.
Leaving already?
Johnny asked from the entryway. Heisler turned to him and answered,
You've been a good friend to me. I don't know why. I'll see you around, John.
Heisler walked off, leaving his friend in shock.
Let me give you a ride or something.
Heisler was already on his phone, calling for a cab. In mere moments, the yellow sedan was coming up the road. After entering, he directed the driver to his dad's house, and off they went. Once they arrived, he gathered his belongings and climbed back into the cab. He looked out the window for a moment. The aging two-story was appropriate.
This might be where I came from, but not where I belong.
All set, the cabbie asked.
Airport.
Sure. Thanks for listening to Losing Human Part 4 by Aaron Dennis. More coming soon. Please like and subscribe to this YouTube channel. You can also download Losing Human for free from the link in the description.